At least 6 dead at the Boston Bridge disaster. Cash smugglers remanded while dangerous machete wielding man attacks school in St. Elizabeth. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. A recovery operation resumed this morning in search for the 6 construction workers who were on the Francis Scott Key Bridge when it collapsed early yesterday morning. The U.S. Coast Guard announced yesterday evening that the search had been suspended for the night and the workers are presumed to be dead. At the time the ship hit the bridge, there were workers doing repairs on the road. On all work vehicles, cars and people on the bridge ended up in the water during the collapse. Some were rescued, but it is said at least 6 others were still missing. The disaster struck at night, luckily, as it could have been during the day when it could have been loaded with commuters traveling to and from work. Over in Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, when completed, will be renamed in honor of national hero Paul Bogle. The Harborview to Yallahs Bridge leg of the highway was officially opened in February of this year, significantly reducing travel time between Kingston and St. Thomas from 45 minutes to 15. The government is now working to completing the Yallahs Bridge to Port Antonio and Morant Bay to Cedar Valley legs of the highway, which the Prime Minister said will open that corridor with water, broadband, and sewer lines in some areas. When the road work is completed, Mr. Holness said the highway will be renamed the Right Excellent Paul Bogle Highway. 2 St. James residents who were arrested in 2021 after 9 ounces of cocaine were discovered in cheese puffs and plantain chips packaged at a courier company have been found guilty of breaching the Dangerous Drug Act. Kadisha Johnson and Calvin Grant were charged with possession, dealing, attempting to export, and conspiracy to export cocaine. However, no evidence was offered on the conspiracy charge. Trial Judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley, who delivered the verdict last Tuesday, said that her decision was supported by the prosecution's evidence that the two were aware that cocaine was concealed inside the packages. And according to her, in Johnson's case, the evidence presented in court clearly demonstrated willful ignorance. And it is a clear case of willful blindness when the evidence showed that she had it in her possession and handed it over. All of these red flags were there, and she decides to turn a blind eye, the judge said. 2 persons arrested 2 weeks ago for attempting to smuggle a huge amount of U.S. cash into the country were remanded on Friday after appearing before the St. Andrew Parish Court. The 2 defendants, Dina Baker, 44, a mason from Bortles Crescent in Old Harbor, and Randy K. Blair, 30, a cosmetologist from Harristown in St. Anne, were remanded until April 8 when their attorneys will petition for bail. Mr. Baker and Miss Blair were apprehended on March 12, shortly after arriving at the Norman Manley International Airport. The narcotics police said that they confiscated $70,000 in their bags, and police claimed that the U.S. currency was discovered hidden in hair product jars. The 2 were prosecuted under the Proceeds of Crime Act for being in possession of criminal property, cross-border movement of funds, bringing criminal property into Jamaica, and concealing criminal property and conspiracy. Meanwhile, classes at Retirement Primary School in St. Elizabeth were dismissed early yesterday after a man invaded the compound and threatened staff and students with a machete. And this is the second incident involving this same man who was taken into custody. In October of 2022, former principal Anne-Marie Robinson Terrelong was hospitalized after being chopped on the head by the man who attacked her in the schoolyard. Chairman of Retirement Primary Herman Samuel said no one was wounded in this latest incident, but staff and students were left traumatized. Mr. Samuel said that he alerted the police and called for assistance from residents after he was informed that the man was again on the compound Tuesday morning. He said citizens then overpowered the man and handed him over to the police. Mr. Samuel said classes will resume after the Easter break. He said the school community is now upset that the man who is from the area was allowed to return after the last incident. And for attacking and chopping the previous principal on the head and almost killed her, the suspect was taken before the courts for the attack, but the case was dismissed. Let me repeat, for chopping the former principal on the head and almost killed her, the case was dismissed. That's why she did not return, because the law in Jamaica does not offer protection for anyone. And it is after you're dead the law seems to apply, and even then it's just a slap on the wrist for these people. And this school does not even have a fence to protect the students from this man who will probably be out on bail by next week. Meanwhile, a man who was reportedly seen on CCTV tape murdering a vendor in Montego Bay, St. James last year was remanded in custody on Thursday. Tyrese Hunter, also known as Bobby, a mechanic from Johns Hall in St. James, appeared at the St. James Parish Court, during which the clerk of court stated that the case file was incomplete. Hunter is accused with the murder of Akeem Robinson, a 34-year-old seller from Burnt Savannah in St. Elizabeth. The prosecution is expecting a CD with CCTV footage of the incident to add to the case file. And according to police report, Robinson was shot and killed soon after 2 p.m. on Thursday, November 23rd of 2023 near Fustic Road in Montego Bay. The lone assailant approached, alighted from his motorbike, and shot Mr. Robinson in the head. Meanwhile, narcotics police have charged a St. Mary woman with trafficking crack cocaine. Sophia Ricketts, a 52-year-old of Montego Bay resident, was detained on Monday during a drug investigation at her house. The police said they seized 12.5 grams of crack cocaine during the raid. Narcotics officers said they invaded the property in Dumpland, Montego Bay, and confiscated 146 pieces of crack cocaine from her bedroom. The cocaine has an estimated street value of 36,000 Jamaican. And Miss Ricketts, who faces charges of cocaine possession and trafficking, was released on station bail and is scheduled to appear in the St. Mary Parish Court on Tuesday, May 21st. Detectives from the St. Anne Criminal Investigation Branch, the CIB, are attempting to uncover the motive for the murder of a farmer in the parish on Tuesday. Tyrone Brown, 53, of Cowley District in St. Anne, was found murdered at his house soon after 7 p.m. yesterday. And according to reports, family member discovered the body and phoned the police. The body bore chop wounds to the head. On to sports. Granville United are the champions of the St. James Football Association Major League title after beating Flanker United 4-3 on penalty kicks, having played to a 1-all result in the final at Jarrett Park on Friday. Granville United have won the title for the first time in more than a decade, and they have qualified for the playoffs of the Jamaica Football Federation Championship, which is set to be contested later this year. Flanker United have now lost back-to-back finals. Premier League, Mount Pleasant held on to the lead after a 2-0 beating of Arnett Gardens to move to 53 points on Sunday and dropping Arnett into 5th place on 45 points. But it was Tivoli's turn to shine, and they did in a 1-0 beating of Harbourview and now jump into 2nd place on 48 points. And this allowed them to have a better goal average to leap past Cavaliers, who is also on 48 points, and they now drop into 3rd. Cavaliers, meantime, had a massive win, beating Treasure Beach 5-0. Portmore, who were expected to be challenging for the 2nd place, were shocked by Vere United, who beat them 1-0 and leave them in 4th on 45 points. And we will now go over to the results from Monday to Sunday. So on Monday we saw Tivoli Gardens beating Harbourview 1-0. Humber Lions were 6-0 winners over Lime Hall. Montego Bay United beating Mullines United 2-1. Waterhouse Edge Dunbeholden 1-0. Mount Pleasant were 2-0 winners over Arnett Gardens, while Cavaliers beat Treasure Beach 5-0 and Vere United beating Portmore 1-0. And that's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I gone.